everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about one of the topics that is trending on social media today, and that is the glow up. Now everybody loves to see a good glow up, but what defines an actual glow up? Is it just about the outside and looking good, or is it defined by something a little bit deeper? What is a true glow up? A true glow up is the difference between a surface level change and a deep holistic change that includes all facets of the body, mental, emotional, and physical changes. While everyone may have their own vision or idea of what a glow up is, I truly believe that we can glow up in different facets of our life, and it's not always about our physical appearance. Now, you can have a career glow up by getting a promotion or a new job. You can glow up in your mental health by setting boundaries, being happier, and how you carry yourself overall. Your appearance is obviously a more common way of glowing up. A lot of people focus on their hair, their nails, and how they dress. Some glow ups include upgrading your lifestyle, like getting a new house or a new car. Last but not least, I feel like one of the most important glow ups are relationships, because being in a healthy relationship can change your outlook on life. So these can be healthy relationships as in friendships, or even being in a healthy relationship with a spouse or partner. Now, sometimes this isn't always reflected in the way that most people think. Like maybe you would think that it's getting into a new relationship, but it's just as important to leave an unhealthy relationship and being in a healthier relationship with yourself. This is why you'll see some people glow up after a divorce, or even after leaving a toxic or unhealthy work environment. Next, we're going to chat about some of the pros and cons of glow ups. Now, after we go over the pros and cons of glow ups, you'll kind of have a better idea and understanding of how glow ups are done wrong sometimes, why they don't last sometimes, and how people tend to hit so many pitfalls along the way when they are having their glow ups. Let's start with some of the cons. Now, when you are in the process of having a glow up, you're going to hear everyone's opinions. And this is loud and clear, especially when you are in a public position, you are on social media, like maybe an influencer, or you're more popular, or maybe even you work in an environment where there are a lot of eyes on you. And this is going to increase the amount of scrutiny of what you are going through during your glow up. People are going to have their opinions. Some people may love what you're doing and root for you, and there may be other people who do not like the changes that you are making, both physically, mentally, spiritually, even financially. Whatever choices you're making for yourself, there are going to be people who may not like those choices and decisions and changes. Next is you are going to be exposed to some awkward moments. Now, when you are in a glow up, you're transforming, right? And anytime there are changes that are making, you're going to encounter a lot of first. Your first time going to the gym, or maybe even if you're familiar with the gym, your first time using new equipment or trying new workouts, your first time showing up to work with a new hairstyle or a new wardrobe. Any first that you have along the way are going to be a little bit awkward. And sometimes making these changes or even publicly failing can stop you from making your glow up, or from fully actualizing it, like marching it all the way through from beginning to end, because you are so scared of what other people think or how other people are going to react to these changes. Some other firsts that you might experience on your glow up could be maybe unemployment in between jobs, or being the new girl or new guy on your job. There's I don't even know why, but your first day of work is always like this really awkward feeling, and you have so many butterflies, but that is a first for you that you are experiencing. For some people, you might experiencing having to downsize. Like if you are trying to save money to move into a bigger house, having to downsize, selling some of your stuff, moving back in with your parents, and things like that could be seen as an awkward first. Moving into your new home and there's no furniture in your new home. I know that this has kind of been a trend that people are kind of showing, that awkward, like, hey, I got the house, but I didn't have money for the furniture. But those are those awkward moments that might be exposed in the process, where it is a process. It's not going to happen overnight, and there's going to be these awkward moments. Also, if you are moving to a new city and you are making new friends, you are the new girl on the block and you have to introduce yourself and put yourself out there. Those moments can be awkward at first, and they are going to be uncomfortable, but you still have to push through them in the process. One of the next cons of your glow up is going to be you're going to lose some friends and family along the way. Not everyone is going to support you on your journey. No matter what type of glow up you're on or what type of changes you're making in your life, you are going to inspire some people, and some people are, they're just going to be jealous of you, or they're just not going to like the changes that you're making. The reality is that when we make a decision to step forward into our future and make better changes for ourselves, we essentially are a mirror to the people around us. Some people look at that and say, wow, I want to do better and I aspire to be better and make changes. And some people look at that and it reminds them that they're not doing the things that they promised that they would do for themselves, or they're not willing to make changes for themselves. And so a lot of those people will shy away from you. You may stop hearing from them, or you may hear from them in negative ways. Maybe they will try and discourage you. That's a big one. A lot of people will try and discourage you. A lot of people don't like seeing other people making changes because they are caught in their own thought patterns and ideas about something, or maybe even the fear of doing it has crippled them, so they don't want you to do it. And so you have to be very careful about who you allow around you during this time, and set very strong boundaries as well. Sometimes people have limiting beliefs about what they can do and what they cannot do. And when you are around these types of people, they will put their limiting beliefs on you. For example, if they feel like they are scared to apply for college or apply for a new job and promotion, they will try and tell you like, oh, you don't need to do that. Like, you're good where you're at. If you stay around those types of people who continue to push their limiting beliefs on you, it could leave you stagnant as well, because sometimes we tend to pick up the limiting beliefs of those people and we will stay where we are instead of pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone and growing. Next, you are going to inconvenience people as you grow. Now, jobs and friends and family, sometimes they want you to stay where you are because it's a convenience to them, right? Maybe you have a friend who doesn't want you to work out more often, because when you don't work out more often, you can hang out with them and go eat all the junk food and do all of those bad habits, right? But now if you are no longer doing those bad habits, who is going to be their partner in crime, right? Jobs, of course, jobs never want you to progress. So you really got to be careful in the workplace when you are glowing up, because your coworkers and your supervisors, they're not going to want you to grow, because that means that they're going to lose you in the position that you're in. So you have to be very careful about who you share your glow up with or your goals with, because they will try and keep you where you're at. Especially if there's competition in your office. If there's only one management position in that office and people around you see that you're trying to go for it, they may do that crabs in a barrel type of thing where they try and pull you back down or stop you from getting that promotion, or try to sabotage you in any way. So please keep a lookout for that, and also understand that it's a part of the process. It hurts. It is the most painful part of growing in life, is losing friends and family, and people that you love, people you thought were on your side who really had your back. A lot of times you never really expect it. You don't see it coming because maybe those people have supported you in changes in the past. But as you begin to elevate higher and higher, sometimes people are not going to support your next level of elevation, and it's always best for you to take the time to reflect and to decide to choose you at the end of the day, because that change is not for them, it's for you and for the possibilities of the future for you. So never stop, never allow those people to stop you from making positive changes and from growing and glowing up the way that you are choosing to glow up for your life. Another thing that is going to be loud and clear is as you are glowing up, you're going to have to set new boundaries for yourself. And as you set boundaries, you will see people are going to try to trample all over your boundaries. They're going to try and push you and taunt you in different types of ways, because people who did not respect your previous boundaries are definitely not going to respect your new ones. So you definitely have to set strong boundaries. Like for example, if you have a friend that you always go out and party with every Saturday, but Saturdays are your days where you're working on your new glow up, that friend is going to keep calling and texting and calling and texting you. They may even show up at your house like, hey girl, I'm ready to go. Are you ready? You're going to have to set strong boundaries with those people. Make your boundaries clear, make them known. And for people who do not respect your boundaries, you're going to have to come up with a plan of how you're going to handle those people as well. All right, enough about the cons. Let's jump into some major pros of glowing up. And one of the biggest ones is going to be your confidence. As you are setting really big goals for yourself, they may seem out of reach, and you're gonna obviously have to break them down into smaller chunks. But as you take steps towards your goal and you get closer and closer towards that big goal, you're going to see that you have set solid boundaries and that you are making positive changes for yourself. And each step towards that big goal and every small thing that you achieve is going to be bricks to the wall of confidence that you are building for yourself. This is going to be especially true the more unattainable your goal seems. Like if it is a really big goal that you set for yourself, and the closer you get towards that goal, you're going to start to really build confidence. Or if this is a goal that you've tried to accomplish in the past and you came back, you restarted with different ideas of how to accomplish this goal and you actually accomplish it. One of my favorite pros about a glow up is that you're able to create the life you want from scratch. It's almost like a big quantum leap that you are sculpting and creating yourself. You get to sit down at the drawing board and write down every single thing of what you want your future life to look like and literally build it brick by brick. This is going to help you build self-confidence and independence as well. Take the time along the journey to enjoy the self-discovery and really take the time to put the pieces together of what you are liking, what you don't like, checking in with yourself and saying, okay, well, maybe I don't like the way this is going. Let's pivot in a new direction, or let's try to add different details along the way. Last pro I'm gonna go over is that it opens doors of opportunities. Now with a glow up, you could have new opportunities for a new job, to meet new friends, to try new hobbies and new products that you've never imagined. All of these new things are going to help to reinvigorate you and give you a new idea about life and new ideas about different things that you've tried in the past. You might even create a new group of friends, a new network, and maybe even find different forms of income along the way. Maybe there's something that you've tried and you really enjoyed it, and now that's a great business idea for you. Or you created a project to help, or a product to help you track your progress along the way, and now, wouldn't you know it, you've created a journal that's going to help you other people to glow up, and it's something you can sell. The possibilities are endless when you are in the process of glowing up. It is a realm of creativity where the creativity is going to continue to flow the more that you believe in yourself and push yourself. Now, there are several ways that glow ups can go wrong, and we're gonna go over a couple of them now. One of the biggest ways that a glow up can go wrong is by chasing someone else's dream. Now, this happens a lot when you see people who say like, okay, I want to be a doctor because my dad and my mom and everyone in my family is a doctor. And they're chasing that goal for all the wrong reasons. They're chasing it because it's someone else's expectation for them, or someone else has put pressure on them to attain that goal, or they're doing it because of the outcome of someone else's approval. So make sure that when you are in the process of glowing up, that you are doing it for all the right reasons. You understand your why, and you don't feel pressured to make any of these changes. It is coming from a true and authentic place holistically. Next is making change out of desperation. Now, a lot of our decisions come from a place of desperation where you feel like, okay, this is not working. What I'm doing is not working. I have to make a change. And that could be a positive thing. But if you use that energy of desperation and you jump right into making life changes and you don't stop to think about them, it could lead you to the complete opposite. And what I mean by that is when you are making decisions out of a place of desperation, there is a sense of anxiety and angst that comes with that. And you are going to want changes to happen fast and in a hurry instead of understanding that it takes time to make these changes. This is where a lot of people end up taking shortcuts. They don't take the time to research. They make hasty decisions that can make for long-lasting consequences. I've seen this happen in people who rush to have plastic surgery. I've seen this happen with people who like rush to make any type of aesthetic changes, fillers, and getting their hair done. Or some people may feel like, okay, financially, I'm not making the amount of money I want to make, and they rush into getting a new job or rush into a new career field without doing the research of what are the long-term trends with this job and long-term effects of taking this job physically, mentally, and financially. This can be the same with people who move to a new city. Maybe they haven't fully researched that city and what they need to move, and that move can be done hastily. I've seen people who take a job in a new city and they don't think about all of the consequences. They make that decision out of desperation. They can move to that city and it can be a complete flop and failure from beginning to end because there's not proper planning done. So make sure that when you are making the decision to glow up, number one, that it is your decision and something you really want. And number two, you're not making that decision out of a place of desperation where there's no planning, there's no thought, and even taking the time to meditate and pray on it so that you are making these decisions with a clear mind and heart. Next is setting unrealistic goals. Now, I've seen this as well when it comes to physical, like making physical changes to your body, but I've also seen this when people set really big goals to change everything at once. Like I said, when you are in it to glow up, you are doing this holistically. Mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, you're willing to make the changes. So understanding that means that you are going to have to go through a lot of transformation, and it's not going to be overnight. If you're setting unrealistic goals for yourself, like big goals that you expect to finish in a small period of time, or goals that are unrealistic for your lifestyle or for your body, you're going to find yourself disappointed. And if you make those goals and you try to attain those goals and you fail, that fail can lead to failure like paralysis, where you never want to try and finish any type of glow up. You never want to try and do any other goals again. So you have to set realistic goals. You have to sit down, put pen to paper, and write all of the details out to make sure that what you're trying to achieve is realistic in both time and your resources as well. When you are setting goals for yourself, for your body, and you are going out to do any type of procedures or changes, whether it be dyeing your hair a different color, getting veneers for your teeth, or getting plastic surgery, it is especially important to make sure that you are checking with the actual professionals to make sure it's realistic. Now, I myself have done this stupidly. I tried to dye my hair red when I was in high school, and every time I tried to dye it myself, the red would not stay. So I decided I was going to go to one of my friends. I was going to let her do my hair. She said she knew what she was doing, and she bleached my hair and put the red on top. And it looked great for a whole 12 hours, you guys, before the red ended up everywhere. So really and truly, when you're rushing into things, you have to think about the long-term consequences of those decisions. My long-term consequence for that is it took me almost a year to get my hair black again, having to re-dye my hair, and a lot of my hair was dead and dying from the level of bleaching that we did to it. So stop and think about the consequences. There are people who have lost their lives to rushing into plastic surgery or using products such as having things injected into their body that were toxic, not understanding what that product was made of, or using people that are unlicensed to make that happen. when you are making these big goals and you don't plan financially, you may not have the money to pay for the people who you should be going to. So that causes you to cut corners as well. Or maybe you're trying to hurry up and rush and do things. So you go to the surgeon that says that they'll do all 5 of these procedures together when it may not be right. So stop and think about things. Make sure that you plan, and every single one of your glow up goals should have a time frame to them that is realistic. The time and the money has to be realistic, along with your body and knowing your body and what is realistic for your body. Not comparing yourself to social media, which is heavily edited, you guys, very heavily edited. When you are comparing your body to certain Instagram models and people online, you don't know how much editing they've done. You also don't know how much surgery they've had. You don't know all of the changes they've made to your body. You just know what they've shared with you. So be realistic and give yourself grace. Rushing to hurry up and do something and make those changes could be detrimental, you guys. So set those realistic goals and sit down with pen and paper and talk to actual professionals who understand and know how to make those changes in a healthy way. And financially, if it's a stretch for you, then just plan financially to save, to go to the professional that you need to go to, instead of cutting corners to hurry up and rush to go to someone else who would do it for cheaper, because cheaper is not always better. Lack of consistency is one of the next big things. With all changes, there has to be a plan for how you're going to keep up with your new life. So even if you are just making aesthetic changes to your body, changing your hair color, getting veneers, anything like that, you're going to have to figure out what the aftercare process is for that, how much that's going to cost so you can budget for it, and how you're going to keep up with this. What additional changes are going to come with this in your lifestyle, and how are you going to maintain that new change? And the same goes for any change that you're going to make in any glow up. So sit down with pen and paper and create a long-term plan for how you're going to keep and maintain. It's great to lose weight or to have that plastic surgery, but if you don't maintain your body afterwards, it's going to be a huge loss in your investment, and it's going to, you're going to feel so defeated afterwards, like, man, I really got to this point and I met my goal, and then 6 months later, I'm back where I started. Next is making physical changes only. Now this is a big one, because even if your glow up is just aesthetic, there's a lot of mental health aspects that go along with that. You have to make the decisions for yourself. You have to understand why you want to make these changes to your body, making sure that you're not doing it just because it's trending or just because you saw a friend do it, so that's why you want to do it. Also making sure that this is realistic for your life long term. I've seen a lot of people who make changes to their body that are permanent changes based off of trends. And body trends are a whole nother topic I'd love to get into on another video. But if you are making any type of changes just based off of a trend, those trends are not going to last, and it's going to leave you feeling empty mentally and physically, because, and financially too, if you paid a lot to make these changes. But you have to find real meaning behind these changes, and it has to be something that you actually want to do. If you're just following trends, the trends are not going to last, and you have to find deeper meaning for making this glow up and these changes. Lastly, if you're making these changes for someone else, like you're making these changes to satisfy someone else, for someone else's approval, or just for maybe a short-term opportunity, it can leave you feeling very sad, very depressed, and feeling very empty, because seeking other people's approval is just temporary. I've seen girls who dye their hair blonde because their boyfriend likes blondes. It's not a good reason to do it. Like, you really have to seek deep down within yourself to make sure that you're making these changes for the right reasons. This also includes financial choices, you guys. I cannot tell you how much flex culture really impacts people, and people make major life-changing decisions just based off of what they saw somebody else online do. I will give you guys my example of a big mistake that I made when I was young. I was a super young mom, and I was living in a very small apartment We had a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment, and I loved my little apartment. I had taken over somebody else's lease, so I was only paying $500 a month for this apartment. But I saw some of my friends that were older who had older kids and they had houses. I really wanted a house. I wanted my kid to be able to have a big backyard to run and play in, so I didn't have to take him to the park anytime he wanted to play. And so I made the decision that I was going to move into base housing. This was when I was in the military. So I made the decision to move into base housing, which seemed great at the time, right? Because base housing, you're not paying for base housing, right, necessarily. I sat down and I like loosely crunched the numbers and I was like, oh, it's not going to be that big of a deal. Well, when I moved into this house, now I have this big backyard that I have to take care of. So I ended up getting a credit card from Home Depot so I can get all of the supplies to take care of this lawn, a lawnmower, a weed whacker, and all of the supplies to get the grass to grow all nice and pretty, because you have to maintain your yard. And then I ended up getting more stuff. Well, now I have to have backyard furniture and I have to have lighting for the driveway. You guys, I worked my way into debt. That's the short of it. I wanted to keep up with appearances. I wanted to keep up with the Joneses. I thought that that was the definition of being a good mom, was to have this house, and I threw myself into financial debt that it took me a long time to get out of. And so when I took a step back and looked at the situation, I was like, I cannot believe I gave up my $500 a month apartment. It was a cute little apartment too, you guys. I gave that up to go take on so much more debt and also so much more stress, because I did not think long term about who was going to cut this grass in this big old yard and maintain it in Florida where there's snakes outside and all sorts of stuff. We had like 2 different snakes that ended up getting into our house. It was just so much. I did not think about the long-term repercussions for this. I just saw this glittering idea of having a house. So please sit and think long-term, not only how you're going to make this goal happen, but how you're going to maintain this new lifestyle, the resources that you need, the financial backing that you're going to need to maintain it, to get there and to maintain it. And make sure it's something you actually want. Like, actually sit down and weigh out the pros and cons and all of it before you get started on this plan, and make sure that it's something that you want for you, not just to keep up with your friends and your family or trends on social media. My last thing that I would say, the last big pitfall that people encounter is not seeking professional help. Now, I briefly mentioned this earlier, especially if you're doing anything aesthetic to your body, to make sure you go see a professional hairdressers, professional nurses, doctors, plastic surgeons, making sure that you're doing it the right way, because any change to your body can be detrimental and life-altering, and people have lost their lives. But this goes along with making financial changes. You may need to see a financial advisor. Maybe you have a mentor or someone that you trust that you can bounce ideas off of. Making sure that whatever decision you're making is realistic, and maybe they might have additional resources for you. Having a good circle of people around you could be a cheat code to a glow up. Having mentors and coaches along the way that will guide you and provide you with the resources that you need will help you to get to your goals faster, and making sure that you're doing it the right way, where you're not creating more problems for yourself that you have to go back and clean up, or problems that could possibly make it longer for you to actually get to your goal. So let's wrap this up. The biggest takeaway when it comes to glow ups is that you can't just change your outside and not think things through when you're making a real glow up. There has to be life-altering changes that come with this glow up that you think of holistically, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially. All of those things come into play when you are making a real and true glow up. And if you don't change your mind about things and you don't think things through, it could be detrimental to your physical, mental, and financial health in the long run. In my personal opinion, I didn't really see a huge glow up in Hannah. While I congratulate her for her weight loss and she looks absolutely amazing, I didn't really see any changes in her personality or anything else, to be honest with you. While I agree wholeheartedly with a lot of the sentiments that Hanna had regarding Nick, I don't believe that it needed to be said in those ways. I feel like a lot of what she said was meant to dig deep and to hurt him, and the way that she said it was very unnecessary. And well, a handful of other people had mentioned that that's how she communicates, and I don't think that that's okay. So she comes across as a bully, very mean and very assertive. Well, being assertive is not a bad thing, and setting boundaries for yourself is not a bad thing, but I do recognize the way that she treats people is not the best. You can see when she's talking to people, both her friends and Nick, that she makes people feel very small. And I think that was addressed when Nick and Vanessa were talking to her. And to be honest, like, was there growth? I think her response to everything was, well, I'm assertive, I'm direct, I'm direct, I'm to the point. And there's nothing wrong with being direct and to the point. I think we've all had conversations with people who are very direct, assertive, and to the point. But there's also a point where you don't have to overdo it with communication and purposely hurt people. I did not really see much change or growth or glow up in her mental health, in her communication with how she talks to people, or how she just treats people in general. You can almost see with every interaction or every friend that Hanna has, that there's almost like this trepidation where her friends are afraid to really, really communicate with her. And I don't know, I don't think that they would say that she's had a true glow up, because a glow up comes from more than just how you look on the outside. If you're not making the changes to match the outside with the inside, then it's not really a true glow up, in my opinion. We don't know Hanna personally to sit down and ask her the real intentions and reason behind her wanting to glow up, to really know if she did it for herself and she wasn't doing it out of criticism from other people, the opinions of other people, or even internet bullying. I will say there was a lot of really mean comments about her, her outer appearance, and they even mentioned in the reunion that Nick had called her a grenade. It said that she had looked like a grenade. I want to make it clear, I do not agree with the name calling and bullying. I don't think that's right. And I myself have dealt with bullying, both from being really, really skinny when I was younger, and also from being overweight when I was older. So I completely get it. That will serve sometimes as the fire under your feet for you to want to make changes. But when you are making those changes along the way, even though they may have started from a negative experience that caused you to make positive changes, you still have to make sure that you're doing it for yourself. Otherwise, you're just going to hear those people taunting you in the background, and that's going to be the only thing that really drives you. So once again, I don't know her personally to sit down and have that conversation with her to find out her why and to find out what is continuing to fuel her to make these positive changes. But I will say that I congratulate her for the changes that she has made, and hopefully there's continued growth with these changes. Hopefully she is finding those internal things that need to be tweaked, and finding that increase with maturity, changing the way she talks to people and treating people in her circle a little bit better. So I want to hear from you guys next. What do you think about Hanna's glow up? Do you think she did the glow up right? Do you think she's still in her glow up era? Comment down below and let me know if you are in a glow up and which areas you are focusing on. If this video was helpful, make sure that you hit subscribe, like the video, and share it with a friend. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video.